Here's another reading from When Life Hurts, a Book of Hope, written by Rabbi Wayne Dosick. Contains image, a story with which you're probably already familiar, the footprints reading, but he also extends a bit on that. So he's entitled this, Alone with God. No matter how wonderfully caring the community, no matter how deeply loving the friends, eventually the door closes each night, and I am left all alone. It is then that utter despair overtakes me. He shares about some extreme losses that he has had. And then he writes, when I am at the lowest of the low, the deepest of the deep, figuratively and sometimes literally, I cannot get up. I cannot imagine anything ever being all right again. I am unspeakably sad and deeply distressed. I feel forlorn and forsaken and completely alone in a cruel and unrelenting world. All seems utter futility. I wonder if there's any reason to go on, and if there is, how I can possibly do it. I ask over and over again, when bitter tragedy strikes you and me, when life really, really hurts, where is God? Where is God when I need God most? Recalling a little story that has been told for many years helps answer my question. This story has become so popular that it's been printed on bookmarks, ceramic plates, and refrigerator magnets. It's most often attributed to an anonymous author, but it really was written by a woman named Margaret Fishback Powers. It's sometimes called The Dream. Most often it's called Footprints. It goes like this. One night I dreamed a dream. I was walking along the beach with my God. Across the sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me and the other belonging to God. When the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. For some of the scenes there was only one set of footprints. I realized that this was at the lowest and saddest times of my life. This really bothered me, so I questioned God. God, you told me that when I decided to follow you, you would walk with me all the way. But I've noticed that during the most troublesome times of my life, there is only one set of footprints in the sand. I don't understand why. When I needed you the most, you would leave me. And God said, my precious child, I love you and will never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. The rabbi goes on. When you am in deepest need, when the pain is overwhelming, when all seems lost, when I cannot bear it any longer, when all my resources are gone and I cannot make it alone, it is then that God says, I carry you. God is like a loving parent. God loves us and takes pride in us and rejoices in our happiness and hurts when we are in pain and wants only the best for us. Like a loving parent, God would like to protect us from all harm, give us what we want, and fulfill our heart's desire. But, like a loving parent, God cannot shield us from all harm and hurt. God cannot solve all of our problems or take away all our pain. No matter how compassionate, how merciful, how loving God is, life will still have its trauma and tragedy, its pain and suffering. But like a loving parent, God does promise to never leave us alone, to always be our friend and our guide, to be with us in time of trouble, and to give us a full measure of divine support, comfort, and love. May it be so.